Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Nate and welcome to March's TBR. First of all, I do want to apologise. I have not been very consistent in February. My depression's gotten quite bad actually, and it's hit me pretty hard in February, and so I'm trying to kind of give myself grace and not push myself into uploading and filming when I'm really not feeling it. So that is kind of what happened in February. I'm feeling a bit better at the moment, and so hopefully in March I'll start to feel a bit better, but I did at least want to do my TBR video, and I will also probably do a wrap-up video at least for the month. So I do apologise for that though. So yeah, so looking forward into March, I will be playing with my TBR game. The goal for this game is I start on the person, I make my way through the banquet, picking up books as I go before when I land on the dragon. The ultimate goal is to defeat the dragon. For defeating 10 dragons, I can break my book buying ban that I am on until it's done basically. So it's probably going to be most of this year, because let's look at what I did in February. So in February, I technically put 3 books on for my audiobook and I read all of them. That was the Agatha Christie one, The Gift for Dying, and I can't remember what the third one was, but I read all 3 of them. But the 5 physical books I did not in fact read. So these were the 5 books. I read the Gilded ones. I actually had a really good time with this. I will talk about it more in a further video, but I'm just not going to get through these books. And I was going to try and challenge myself and push myself, but I'm just not going to. Today is the last day of February. I am a bit into Paper Towns. I'm going to try and finish Paper Towns, and I am a bit into Secret Garden, and I probably am going to finish it. But because in February I had the goal of a read-only classic, I was only physically reading this, but now that I'm technically not going to win, I'm probably going to also switch over to the audiobook for this to help finish it. Although, to be honest, so far it's been a pretty easy read to read, but there is a lot of, one of the characters have a lot of Yorkshire dialect in this, so I think it would be interesting to listen to see how they're actually saying the words that I'm trying to pronounce, if that makes sense. Not successful month. My issue, I think, is sometimes that I tend to leave reading until like I read other things at the beginning of the month, and then I like look at my TBR and I'm like, okay, there's a week left and I have 5 books to read. So we're going to do something different in March, and I'm going to start straight away tomorrow. I'm going to pick up a book and start it. So without further ado, let's jump straight into March's TBR. I have 1 book club book that I do want to read in the month, and I may be partaking in Realmathon, hosted by Covers with Cassidy. I really haven't looked into it though. Again, I've been a bit out of whack in terms of booktube, just not in the right headspace for it. But I do think I would like to try and participate, at least if a bit casually. So I need to look into that later today. But those are the only things that I think I will be doing. Otherwise, it's free reign. So let's jump into role number 1 for the month of March. So let's kick off first of all by picking out our hero for today's adventure. And that hero is the Archer, and shoots you forward after your first pick. So after my first pick, I can essentially shoot forward to the end of that row. That is a great one for getting fewer rolls. I'm using this tiny little frog statue today for my roll. So we're going to start. Got my D20. Let's go with my first roll for March TBR. I got an 8, so we go through the door. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is a blue or a greenie, which is a prompt card. So the first one is an adult fantasy. Nice and easy. And with our Archer, we're going to shoot straight up then. So we are playing with the Archer today, and he shoots me forward after this roll, so that gives me a little bit to jump ahead. And the first one was really nice and broad of adult fantasy. So adult fantasy gave me quite a varied of options that I could pick from. And I have this idea of a short series that I want to do, and I had picked out the first book for that, and it was an adult fantasy. So I've managed to also slip it in my TBR, and that is Fallen City by Adrian Young. This is a adult fantasy. This was Fairy Loot's November pick, and I'm not quite sure actually what it's about. I'll just read like the little synopsis at the top. In the great walled city of Azara, political turmoil ignites a rebellion 100 years in the making. But when someone falls in love with the magistrate's daughter, their love will threaten the fate of the city and the will of the gods. I haven't heard anyone talk about this, but I think it's a gorgeous copy. I really want to try and get through some of these special editions. That is what the short series is focused on, especially because a lot of the books I tend to put on my TBRs tend to be older ones. So I wanted to have like a focus where I am reading special editions. So yeah, hopefully you'll see that first video in March. It involves me though reading a book, so I'm glad that I was able to get it on March's TBR. So yeah, that is the first book for March. Roll number 2 is, can you see that? I think so. It's a 14. Slide it down so you can see. A 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 12, 13, 14. I don't know why, again, I'm trying to skip numbers, but that's another prompt card, which is a fantasy YA. Nice. So therefore, roll number 2, I got YA fantasy. Lush. Now, on Goodreads, this is considered fantasy. I've always thought it was a bit more like sci-fi. I don't know why I thought that, but regardless, it is Oblivion by Anthony Horowitz. This is the fifth and final book in his Power of Five series. I have really enjoyed this series. It's like an early 2000s series, follows a group of kids that essentially have powers. They have to come together to stop these creatures called the Old Ones from taking over the world, essentially. And I have really enjoyed it. The first one in particular had such great atmosphere. It has changed quite a bit from the first one because it was just about one character who was very isolated in like the countryside in England, and the atmosphere in that book was so good. But I have really enjoyed this series going on. You meet the other four characters and you have switched between POVs throughout some of the books. The first two were from the same character. I'm not sure about this one, but I'm excited to get into it. And I get the audiobook for this one because it is a bit of chunker. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading and actually finally finishing this series. If you are into like YA, kind of that fantasy sphere, I would really recommend this series. I know Anthony Horowitz's like adult books are quite popular, and also his like Alex Rider series, but I never really see anyone talk about this series, The Power of Five, but I think it's been really good. So really looking forward to seeing how it's finally concluded. Roll number 3. Can you, yeah, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Another prompt card. This is giving me lots of options. A book that has an odd number of pages. Okay, so for odd number of pages, I was finally able to slip in the book club book I needed. It's not a fantasy book, so it would not have worked for the other two, and that is Me and You on Vacation, or You and Me on Vacation, sorry, or I think also alternatively, People We Meet on Vacation. This is by Emily Henry, and this is my friend book club book because my friend who picked this book has recently watched the movie and really enjoyed it, so she wanted to read this. This will be my first Emily Henry, which I'm quite excited about. Although, I actually own one Emily Henry book, and then I own, I think, 2 on ebook, and then this wasn't either of them, so my sister had to buy this one because I cannot buy books. I probably would have listened to it otherwise. But yeah, I think this is a romance following 2 friends who I think always go on vacation together. I don't know, I've seen the trailer for the movie. It looks quite sweet. So yeah, looking forward to reading it and seeing what it's like. It's been a while since I've read a pure romance, so yeah, looking forward to it. And also looking forward to seeing if I like Emily Henry's writing, because I know she is quite a beloved romance author. So yeah, this will be the 3rd book for the TBR. Roll number 4. And 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I got a yellow, which is TBR jar. Okay, so then we have my TBR jar. Last month, I think I got a few TBR jar spaces. I can't remember now. But this month, this is the only one. So yeah, this is a TBR jar with all of my kind of backlist of books. So let's pick a book out that we were reading in March. Adding to the TBR. Let's grab out this blue one. I can see it says the. What does it say? The Silent Patient. Okay, let me grab it. So we have The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. This is a book talk staple, I think a very old school book talk staple that I've never read. It is a mystery thriller. I'm not quite sure where it falls. It's about, I believe, a psychiatrist that works in a mental institute, a mental hospital. There's a woman that's lived there for years that ages ago killed her husband and has never spoken about it. And I think she finally starts to talk about it. I don't know. But this is one that really blew up on Book Talk. I know when it first came out, or like I think around 2020, and I know my sister's read this and I think she quite enjoyed it. But yeah, I've heard good things about it. It's been a while since I've read this kind. Well, it's not actually. Gift for Dying was this kind of, I guess, similar vein actually. But yeah, I really enjoy these kind of reads. I find them very fun, very bingeable. So I'm hoping I like this one. I do have The Fury by Alex Michaelides as well, so hopefully I like his writing. But yeah, also a nice little bit of difference to add to the TBR for the month. Roll number 5. Oh, I think you can just see that. A 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Wonderful, that took us to the end. And so our dragon pick for the month is a book over 600 pages. Okay. And that is it. We got the orange dragon of over 600 pages and we are finally at the end. So I do have to read this book last, and obviously 600 pages is quite a challenge. So I think I'm going to go with one that is going to maybe be slightly easier. It's continuing a series, and that is Keeper of the Lost Cities 5 Lodestar. This is a middle grade fantasy series following our main character, Sophie. She basically grew up with humans, grew up in the human world, believes she's human. She finds out she is an elf. She has all these magic powers. She ends up going to this like magical world where the elves live in an elfin school, and there is a kind of sinister plot going on in the background that involves her. And yeah, this is the 5th book. I have enjoyed this series. I find it's very easy to read. I find it quite engaging. I find the mysteries quite compelling. I do find the kids in this ever so slightly annoying. And it's kind of this weird mix of they are very like entitled and kind of like push their nose in and like get pushback for that. But at the same time, the adults also kind of sometimes put a lot of pressure on them and a lot of expectations on them to act a certain way, but then also pull that back in certain situations. So I can, like from the kids' perspective, see why they go on this kind of like self-righteous path of like doing outlandish things, because sometimes they're expected to do like XYZ things, but also sometimes they're like shielded and not told things. So yeah, but I do find the kids in this are so slightly annoying. But yeah, I've enjoyed the series regardless so far. But they do just getting progressively big, and I have heard that they're kind of like repetitive in story format in terms of the stuff that ends up happening. There's always like a big ending plot that ends up getting resolved, and then I think it happens all again in the next one. I think it's a book series that's relatively finished recently, or close to being finished. I think there's like 10 or something books in it, the total. I think I own 8, so I'm going to carry on with them. I can get the audiobooks from my library for these. I don't know if it's going to come out for me in March. I just went and had a look, and it says 16th of April. So if the person's in front of me could read it a bit quicker, then I might get it in time for March. But if not, I will just try and read. And yeah, we'll see how we think. So actually, that was actually a really nice short little TBR. So I do want to pick a manga series that I want to read in the month. Let's have a look, and okay, did we get 2? Yeah, we'll go with this one, which says, let's say One Piece. One Punch Man. Okay, this is cool. I've read 3 volumes of this series before. I've got 6 altogether, and I did enjoy it, but I don't know if I'll enjoy it enough to like want to physically own them all, or if I'd be quite satisfied just like downloading the app, finishing it on the app, and then like unhauling the books that I own. I don't know. But yeah, One Punch Man is going to be the series that I'm going to focus on for the month of March. But these are the books for the game To Beat the Dragon. There's no reason I shouldn't do this if I start straight away. Obviously, Keepers of the Lost City I have to read till the end. So for my dragon book of 600 pages, Keepers of the Lost City 5 Lodestar. For my TBR jar pick, Silent Patient. For Ends in an Odd Page Number, You and Me on Vacation. For Fantasy YA, Oblivion, and for adult fantasy, Fallen City. So yeah, I think that is a good stack, a nice variety of genre, age range, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it now. I can start tomorrow, start on them, and yeah, finally crack my way through with these books and maybe have a final win. I said that last month, but I did not successful. But ultimately, it's all for fun, and it's just a little fun challenge to myself. And yeah, I haven't really felt the need to necessarily buy books, so I've been okay on that sense. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Again, I apologise that I've been a bit absent in February. Hopefully that will change going forward in March. Is there any books you're looking forward to reading in March? Please do let me know. If you're participating in Realmathon, let me know what team you're on. I have yet to pick a team. I don't know how much of an asset I'll be to a team, I'll be honest, but I'd give it a go, give it a try. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. I'll see you again hopefully soon. Bye guys.